The last time I was dressed like this, we were at the U.S. Open in Shinnecock. Yeah, he's got the goofy green pants on, the shirt with the golf guy in it. So you're saying, where is he now? I don't know. Where's he? Well, you're close with golf. Hold that thought. We're in a part of New Jersey, West Central, USGA's headquarters, Far Hills. Horse and rich people country. Malcolm Ford lives here. King of Morocco had his old estate around here. Jackie O used to romp around here on horses. But I'm not here for golf today, even though I'm dressed like this, or horses. No. We're here because this is one of the best restaurants in the tri-state region. I'm not just saying Jersey. Forget Jersey. This is one of the best restaurants, period, in the area. Holds up to any of the New York 4 stars. Phenomenal. The Ryland Inn. If you've never heard of it, remember, the Ryland Inn. 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes west of Manhattan, a little jewel. Today we spend the day with the chef, Craig Shelton, get inside, get their story, and of course eat and taste along the way. But no golf.
Good. Getting on deck for a pad thai lobster in the bistro with side of asparagus.
Craig Shelton is one of the most talented chefs working in America today. An American born and bred, a Yalie, a kid with a fine mind who I think majored in molecular biology or something I can't even pronounce, turned that talent to cooking, worked with some of the best chefs in America and abroad, and now runs this phenomenal restaurant, I hate to say it, but kind of in the middle of nowhere, White House, New Jersey, about an hour west of Manhattan and an hour and change north of Philadelphia. But what he has here is a fantastic 3-acre garden, providing him for a good part of the year with some of the best organic produce, fruit, and herbs possible to make great cuisine. That's one of the keys to this place, that and his unyielding talent. That's got so much marble, it's nuts.
You Mrs. Must.
Beef foie gras. It just melts. It's a joke. The meat's only there to connect the fat.
I have a French mother, and I'm therefore, I'm a dual citizen, and spend a lot of my summers with the family over there in France. My grandparents, my mother's parents, had a restaurant in Cognac, and we lived those summers behind the scenes, having dinner as a family, and I didn't really plan to go into this business. I had been following a more academic type of direction, but it all resurfaced when I was in college. It was compelling. I just had to do this.
Now, you weren't just in college. You were at Yale. Not just any college.
We like to say I was in New Haven. So.
What were you studying at Yale?
Well, it was a mouthful, but science stuff and molecular biophysics and biochemistry. I can barely say it myself.
Of course.
You know, and well, that was the official thing. I think I was more studying girls, but we had a lot of fun, and I started doing dinner parties for friends, and it's all reawakened in me, these beautiful memories, and I was drawn to the restaurant world because it's a magical career, especially at the higher levels where, it combines so much aesthetics and beauty and real hard business, soft skills, hard skills, aesthetic things, very objective things. I like the fact that you can bring every aspect of what interests you into it.
It's a little before noon. It's August 2005. It's really hot. We're gonna get this done quick before I melt. This guy's skinny. He doesn't have to worry about this stuff. I'm here with Chip, who's taking care of how do you refer to this garden?
This is a NOFA, New Jersey certified organic garden.
See, that's why I had him say it. Whatever that means, but it's great and it's organic.
Yep.
And we met 5 or 6 years ago.
Yes.
And this garden has grown a lot since then.
It has, and I suppose the main way it's grown is just the variety of crops we're growing out here. Part of the whole organic certification thing is you need to grow a wide variety of crops, and we do that. I mean, that just helps eliminate insect pests, disease pests. Soil fertility is enhanced, and it's just a wonderful way to grow delicious food.
Not cardoon. What is this?
That's celeriac.
One of my absolute favorite fall things.
Yeah.
Incredible flavor.
One of the reasons that I left New York, I was making this decision, and I said to myself, okay, I've just spent this time learning over there from the best artists on earth. What is it they have in France that is still superior to what we have in America? Well, thanks to Gilbert Lecaus, another one of my mentors, at Le Bernardin, we now have fish that's every bit as good as what you could get in France. The meats, I believe, are just as, good. Maybe not some of the game, but we certainly now can say that. So what was missing to me were the vegetables. And that was still decades and decades and decades behind in terms of quality and variety. And, okay, that makes a lot of sense to me then to go somewhere where the soil and the climate is right, to try for me to replicate the kind of vegetable palette, the flavors you would get in Burgundy.
This one is anise hyssop, and that's really, really nice.
Like licorice.
Like licorice.
Like licorice. Amazing.
Yeah.
Did you use this in candy flavoring, maybe?
Candies, ice creams.
That's an incredible. I
Just
could have
as a-
another one of those.
New Jersey, the Garden State, which of course, people don't think of it as this pastoral beauty. I mean, there are two Jerseys. There is the extension of New York City, Jersey, and then there is this one of just the best kept secrets on earth.
Right.
What do you call this again? A white?
White currant, it's called.
That little tiny, almost like a grape-like kind of skin and.
Yeah.
All right, you may eat it.
Oh, wow. Who would have thought?
There's this climate and this soil, and I thought it was one of the best locations to grow organic vegetables that would be similar to the flavors that you get in Burgundy, which to me is the heart of French cooking.
Here's a little Eric Fauvert, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Kirk, look at this.
Yeah.
This is a little French string bean that I love. Look at that. And you can eat this. I'm going to eat this raw. This is incredible. These things cook in no time at all. In and out of water, 30 seconds, like butter. Why cook them? This is so sweet.
You don't need to cook that.
You can't believe how much sugar is in this. I'm here with Rod Dixon. This is the first chef de cuisine at the Ryland Inn, meaning that Chef Sheldon decided at some point he had to trust somebody. And after 9 years and doing a lot of great work, you're the man. Congratulations on that, first of all.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
We've been looking around out here, talking about a little bit about what I've been just tasting a whole bunch of things, what we're going to see on the menu that you're pulling out of here tonight.
Well, you're definitely going to see a variety of tomatoes out here in New Jersey. There's a wonderful tomato sampler on the menu. It's got anywhere from 6 to 10 varieties of tomatoes on it. Leeks, the potatoes will be from the garden. Wonderful local mushrooms that are being harvested on a daily basis by the cooks. A little bit too warm for lettuces right now,
Yeah, they're gone.
certainly. All the herbs, somewhere around 40 to 50 varieties of herbs will be on the menu tonight.
String beans, Eric Fauvert up here somewhere?
Beautiful Eric Fauvert.
Okay.
Sure.
So I saw you playing around earlier with tomato water, those incredible little tomatoes. Tell me, what is this now? This is what you've made?
Yeah, it's a jellied tomato terrine. It's tomatoes en gelée. It's essentially a tomato water or tomato consommé that's been mixed with a mixture of agar-agar, seaweed gelatin, and regular gelatin. It's just
If I
one
pop
of
one of
them.
these in my mouth, am I totally ruining up your mise en place?
Please,
You'll go to pick up the last table, you'll be short one of these, and you'll call me in my car?
there's plenty of them.
I've just been watching these made. They look beautiful. Oh. Like a little taste of summer. I mean, it just melts. There's just enough gelatin or agar-agar to hold it. Hits your mouth temperature and just dissolves. Got all the basil, all the tomatoes. That's beautiful.
I suspect that it may be a little unusual that I probably design the vast majority of my dishes around wines rather than pick the wines around the food. Somebody comes to my restaurant and is buying a several $100 bottle of cult Cabernet. It's my duty to adapt the dish so that it doesn't hurt the wine. And unfortunately, most of the cuisine that's popular today that's fusion style and combines all these elements and has very strong condiment, strong acidities or strong amounts of spice, and they can just make a $200, $300 bottle of wine taste like a $10 bottle in no time.
Now, is this a VIP amuse or an appetizer?
Seriously. No, it's I'm used for everyone this evening.
Okay. Beautiful. Hey, when I was a kid, you skimmed foam off of things. Here they make foam. This is basil foam, right? All right, the blob, down. It's quite good, actually. It's quite good, actually. I don't know. I came along too late for the foam scene, but I like it. We did that fancy food show earlier this year, before this one anyway, and we saw these guys. These wonderful chocolate producers that are free trade, make sure everybody gets paid in this process here, preserving really the artisanal chocolate process using the correct species of tree, and here they are at the Ryland Inn using this stuff, so I feel good. This is the 65% Arriva going into the pastries tonight.
I mean, we now understand as a culture in America the importance of, this wine comes from that particular piece of soil, and this wine comes from that over there, and they're each unique, and they express that difference. But it's true in coffee. I mean, it's true in chocolates. It's true in teas, and I think, the more time I spend getting familiar with food, the more I enjoy those differences.
So this is look how loose this is. This is the baguette dough.
This is the baguette. Yeah, this is we go through a lot of these today. We use them at the Ryland Inn for all different things.
Last time I was at the Ryland Inn, which was regrettably too long ago, probably 3 or 4 years, they didn't have this. Now you've graduated to your own fabulous pastry. This is Walter, the man responsible for all the breads at the Ryland Inn. And now you're like a kid in a cookie store. You've got this fabulous toy to play with.
Yeah.
So tell me about what you're doing here. Tell me about bread baking.
First of all, we use only organic flours. They're stone milled, some in Vermont, some in Canada, some the west coast of the United States. Basically, it's a simple process, but it's not an easy process.
Yeah, simple, yeah. Bakers are some of the most tortured people I know.
Yeah.
Because you're all perfectionists, and there's so many things that are sort of in a way out of your control.
I mean, Craig and I come from two different ends of the spectrum, but we're both perfectionists in this area. I mean, when it comes to what he does and what I do here as perfectionist, I'm a throwback deadhead, and he's the other side of the spectrum of that. But
a Mozart buff.
Exactly.
And speaking of you going back to the 90s, one of the other differences, fish came along thanks to Bernardin. Cheese came along on its own way because Americans got better and better and interested in that. But bread was astounding. I mean, back then when Montrachet had the Unibake delivering them twice a day with that little boule with the thing, it was an epiphany.
Yes.
Well, that seems like ancient history today.
It's
and
amazing,
you're
isn't
doing
it?
baking. Now this is something new here. Tell me about what you're doing
this is
here.
what I think, American virtue is remarkable. I mean, I adore America. I love most everything about it. And, we were late in the game as a country to get into food as an art form and wine even. But boy, when Americans get onto something, they just
Watch out.
overdrive. And in 20 years, American population is probably more educated about wine than some of the old countries, and it's staggering. It's beautiful to see. And bread. I mean, I've wanted to do an artisanal bakery since before I even arrived here, and now we've just opened the doors on it, and we are very cautious. We still want, tweaking the product as we scale up in size, and I want to keep it an extraordinarily limited. I mean, I don't think we're going to be able to provide, retail markets. I think we're only going to have enough to do subscriptions, on the personal level of maybe 200 families that will be able to get this, and maybe 3 or 4 restaurants. I don't want to compromise the quality. It's just so exquisite,
When people ask me about this place, I say, first of all, just go. Don't ask me about it. Go. They're in the telephone book. Call them up and eat there. The rest, once you've had a meal there, it's self-explanatory. The one thing I've been waiting is for you to get rooms here, so you could really. I mean, you've got the Relais and Chateau on your jacket. But so talk to me about plans.
Well, that's been my dream for these 15 years, and by the time this airs, I believe that we will have it all settled and probably be building 8 magnificent Relais chateaus, units, suites. And the other wonderful thing is we, are just about to have by the time this show airs, we'll have already had the grand opening, multi-million-dollar restoration of the entire building, interior, exterior, and all because my guests deserve it. My team deserves it, I'm really happy about that.
Normally in these shows, the drill, I do a demo at the end, you get back to my kitchen, I say, hey, we were just there. I've been trying to avoid that when I go to these great kitchens. Danielle did his own demo, Thomas Keller did his own demo, Craig Shelton's going to do his own demo. Please and thank you. So, what do you have in mind? What are you going to do today?
Yeah, I want to do an old classic because although we do a lot of cutting edge food too, sometimes, especially with a big wine, like this is a dish designed for a really great Chardonnay. It's a simpler dish, still pretty, but it eats beautifully with great Chardonnay. So it's just it's a lobster dish. It's one of our standards, lobster tart.
Okay, and when you're saying, and when he says great Chardonnay, he's not talking about that oaky, pineapple-y stuff from California. He's talking Burgundy. He's talking,
Le Marché,
Chevalier, all right, so now we have that clarified, okay?
Great.
All right, so what do I have? We got a lot of mise en place here. Here's my lobster.
Okay, lobster.
Leeks?
Leeks cut into little squares, blanched quickly, some sweet peas peeled, some onions, pearl onions that were roasted in the oven for hours slowly, variety of mushrooms, and then the condiments, some chive, shallot, tarragon, some parsley, some thyme, a little saffron,
blooming, okay.
lobster reduction, a little olive oil, a little butter. We got the potatoes, which we're going to lay out
so this is
disc.
kind of like a Palmzana, classical.
Exactly.
Okay.
We get a Palmana rolling in a pan, and it's really just that simple. We've put it on parchment paper with Pam or a vegetable spray, and we just turn him over. And we leave the paper on for a while. We'll put this thing on, and we'll put him up a little on a ring, lift it up off the heat so it doesn't cook too quickly. After it sets and the starch holds and the ring and those little pieces won't fall apart, we'll lift that paper off.
Okay.
I'm going to take just a little bit of that cream reduction, and I'm going to put my leeks in with there. Okay? Cool. I'm going to put that right on the edge to get warming. Good. I have a little bit of sweet peas. I'm going to put just a drop of vegetable stock.
Just to warm them up and give them something
Just
to
the
float
tiniest bit of butter. Just a tiny few pieces of shallots diced.
Okay.
Just a little salt and pepper in both of these. That's 2 of the vegetables. I have a pan raring to go for the mushrooms. The lobster, meanwhile, was boiled in hot water in the shell for just 2 minutes.
Court bouillon.
It's very important, in court bouillon, to set the flesh before you use the braised butter technique. Here we have some of that emulsion butter.
Beautiful.
And it's seasoned already. Here's the tail.
What do you think the temperature is of that?
We cook most of the proteins where you could keep your finger in 115,
Yeah, I was
120.
Below 125.
That's definitely
okay.
it. Now I put him into a very moderate oven at about 225 degrees.
Okay.
Maybe 5-10 minutes. This gives me time now to work on the mushrooms and the sauce. For the sauce, very simple. I have a little bit of the
saffron reduction, the lobster reduction, the butter sauce again if I like, a tiny bit of heat on that first, and then one of the best friends of the kitchen, the immersion blender here, pulls it together. It gets that emulsion nice and strong and nice and foamy. The sauce is ready to go. The mushrooms, in this case, a little bit of butter, perhaps a little bit of oil if the pan is very hot. The mushrooms are going in. Keep them nice and separated. This way they'll get a little color without steaming. There's plenty of room for the
Don't want them to sweat.
for the water to escape from around the edges. As soon as I feel the mushrooms are ready, I'll add into it the
Slow roasted shallots.
slow roasted shallots and onions. The last few seconds here, I'm adding in these onions to get them just a little rewarmed. The lobster meat should be close. It's the magic of TV.
No, this is all real time. This is all
And
working.
center of the plate are the leeks. You know, one of the cornerstones of French cuisine is the onion family, the allium family. It gives a lot of middle palate. It's what makes the flavors last so long in the mouth. Next, I combine the peas at the last second with these onions
And mushroom.
and mushrooms. And these are now going to go as the next layer inside. Now finally I'm ready to take the lobster out. You see how tender it is? It's almost falling to pieces. I usually take the butter that the lobster was cooked in to augment the sauce because of all of its flavor.
Yeah, just gave it out.
One last, to me, it's a little thick. It won't hold the bubbles as much. I add a little bit more of my vegetable stock, so I'll get a much richer foam. Here we are. And we can see how that's holding the bubbles now. It's time for a little bit of herb garnish, chives, maybe a little parsley, perhaps a tiny bit of tarragon, but very little. It's strong. Tiniest bit of thyme, only 1 or 2 leaves. This is ready to come up. From here, one of these potato discs is on top, and we usually have a little parsley juice that we give. The reason for that is a lot of Culinary Montrachet, the classic on the nose, is the chlorophyll, and the chlorophyll of the parsley will echo that. Great dish for a really nice bottle of Chardonnay, and a great dish for your wife to love you more. It's simple, but it eats really well.
It was wonderful. Now we're going to stick a knife and fork in this like we always do, and we got to sample it.
All right.
You know, it's my job.
Super.
Someone has to do this. Thank you. You made it look easy, and you got me out of doing a demo.
You make these show look easy.
Continued success with your business
Thank you.
here. Look forward to the rooms in
You're a
another
dear
20
friend.
years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to move the Parmesan to the side because I know I'm going to destroy it trying to cut it. Go right in with the lobster tail here. And just get into the heart of the matter here. All right, we got the lobster tail, some mushrooms, some schmear. Oh. You know, how can you go wrong with leeks, fiends herb, mustard, butter poached lobster, more butter, saffron, lobster stock. Oh, and what do we have here?
Oh, with some of
And
that
a
white
glass
stuff.
of oh, sure, that's my house wine at home actually. That's great. Yeah, this is nice. Beautiful. That's perfect. It's perfect.